Hey guys, this is my first video, so before I get dressed, I'm gonna light my smoker. I'm gonna let it burn for a while. And most people think the smoke hurts the bees or is a danger to them, but honestly, it just makes them eat and it calms them down. Because, like, honey is like alcohol for bees. It's hot. Ow, ah! Okay, so now I'm gonna get dressed. I have my pants, my gloves, scissors, and my veil. So I'm gonna start with my veil, which I'm gonna have to flip the camera for this. Yeah. So I'm gonna start with my veil. I wanna put it all the way on. And before I even start, I wanna get comfy with it first. Make sure my hair is out of my face. Make sure there's nothing that feels uncomfortable. And now I'm gonna go ahead and put on my pants. Gloves are always gonna go on last, because with the gloves on, the gloves are sticky and it's gonna be so much more difficult to put everything on. And actually, the gloves used to be this color right here, but now they're yellow. And the reason they're yellow is because the beeswax in the hives has a coloration and it causes the gloves to get colored. So now I put on my boots. You don't have to wear socks with them. And I put my pant legs over the boots. Me putting the pant legs over the boots stops the bees from getting into my suit and stinging me. And I'm gonna put on my gloves and put it over the sleeves, so that way my bees can't get into my suit and sting me. And for this entire time, I've been giving plenty of time for my smoker to burn. And I just want the smoker to burn enough that it's producing enough smoke. And it looks like it is right now. So if you can see, that's my smoker. And it's burning really well right now. And I'm about to open the hive. So I have my hive over here. This is my hive tool. This helps me pry apart the frames and take the top off. So now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my hive tool, move the dinosaur, let him know that I'm here, just get the smoker, just a couple gentle puffs of smoke into the hive, letting them know, hey, I'm about to get in, and letting them know, hey, let's start eating, so that way we can get ready. So, what I'm gonna do first, let me just set up the fan over here. It may look like they're freaking out, but like that's just normal for them. They kind of always look like that. So now, I'm gonna go ahead and open this top part, which is really easy. I don't even need the tool, because they use the propolis on the other parts, and just give them a little bit of smoke, letting them know, hey, I'm about to open up. And then they recognize, all right, we need to get in the hive and start eating. And generally, there's gonna be a lot of bees. And this is no surprise because all those bees, they're just guarding the top. They're making sure that no intruders get through the top. And yes, some bees get squished in the process, but I mean that's nothing to the rest of the hive. So then I'm gonna get right in the center bit. There's this little square shape. I'm gonna put some smoke in there, letting all the bees inside the hive know that I'm coming. And I'm gonna open this bit and just put a bit of smoke inside. So that way they know to start eating. And so that way none of them get smoked in the process. So they move away from that area while I'm smoking. And I'm just gonna peel this top bit off. And there we go, we're inside. And that is the top cover. All this nasty, sticky stuff, that's all antibacterial, which helps people from getting sick. And it keeps my bees and their colony healthy. And then this is all just excess beeswax that they're building because they decided to do that for some reason, which I don't want them to do, but they have to. And now I'm just gonna smoke directly on top of them, letting them know to go back inside and start eating. And I'm gonna smoke right in between the frame that I'm about to take out. A frame are these little wooden, like basically little wooden frames for photos. And so now I'm just gonna pull it out, and the first one is always the trickiest. You have to do it in a certain way, otherwise you hurt them. And this can be damaging to their colony if you do it wrong. Yep, and they glued it really well, so I'm using a lot of strength. Holy crap. Okay, I finally got the top bit off. Now just to pull the rest. Oh my gosh. This feels like it's taking a long time. I know it is. And it's just, it just is gonna. Oh my god. Oh. Yeah, and now some are buzzing in my face because they're angry, but like that's all that white stuff right there. All that is cappings for honey. And so they're just gonna start cleaning up that honey. But I'm really happy with how they're filling this because this used to be completely blank. Now they're actually filling it with something. And I don't have a frame holder, so I'm just gonna sneak it down here and set it right there. See, that's all I can do right now. And I knocked over my smoker. Now I'm just gonna give them a bit more smoke. Let the other ones on the other frame, let them know I'm here. And then I'm gonna pry out that next frame. And they really like to glue these together really well. So that way there's no space for like little bugs or anything to hide. Yeah, and this thing is completely filled with honey. This thing is about 15 pounds, and all that white area, that's all honey. There's nothing but honey on these. So the last two frames on each edge of the box is just gonna be completely covered with honey. But the middle frames, their job is to their job is basically to hold the babies, like in a way. Is if we have nothing, it's like a house. Think of the last two frames on each side being the kitchen, and the middle couple are The middle couple are basically the nursery or like the crib. And no, that was not a rapper reference. But I'm looking for my queen right now. And I named her Queen Gloria. She is an Italian queen bee. And a lot of people think, hey, no, that can't be right. Why is she calling it Italian? There are a lot of species of bees. And just to name like 3, there's ankle biters, which are one of the new ones that fight against Varroa, which are a dangerous mite to the colony that can kill the colony. And then there's Saskatraz, Italian, Carnolian, Australian. Yeah, but this is a really good frame. And do you see all those darker cappings right in here? It's kind of hard to see, but if you can, you can. And those are the baby bees. And they're just growing, and then all around them is honey. And if I flip it to the other side, they still have baby bees growing and a ton of honey as well. So this is actually really good. I'm checking for any queen cells or scout cells, which I don't want them building. It doesn't seem like there's any. And the queen isn't here either, so I'm happy. I'm happy with that. That's good. But it looks like we're getting up towards the queen. So the bees are going to start getting a bit more defensive, and that's okay because I'm protected with my suit right now. So I'm just going to give them a bit of smoke, soft puffs. If you give them too hard puffs, they're going to be really angry, and they're going to think you're threatening them. Because bears and all the animals like to breathe really hard. And if you do it hard, they're going to think it's a predator instead of being someone who's not being a threat. And I mean, there's a lot of dead bees in here, and that's just because I just started and I'm not usually used to small things being in the way. And I just gotta move really slow. And actually a fun fact is beekeeper suits are white, so that way bees don't get angry and confuse it with a bear or a badger. And this is a big frame. That's a lot of bees. And I mean, like, they're not jumping off and getting in my face because they know I'm not being a threat. I'm just checking them out. If I was being a threat, they would be going crazy. And actually right there, if you can see that little cup-shaped thing, I'm not sure if you can, but it's right there. Here, hold on. It's tricky to hold these with one hand. Right there, that's a scout cell. So what I'm gonna do, because that's a big no-no, so I'm gonna get a better grip on this. I'm gonna grab this. I'm just gonna go squish. And a lot of people think, oh no, they're hurting the bees. No, I'm not. I'm just eliminating what they don't need. And I'm just gonna check for any more, just in case. And yep, there's no more. So now I'm just gonna slide it back in because I didn't see the queen either. But the queen is laying very well. And she's reproducing really well. Building the colony fast. She's doing good. Now I'm just gonna grab my smoker again. Give him a couple more puffs. And the reason I give them puffs of smoke is to draw their attention away from me and to the hive and the danger that their hive might be in. And now I'm about to pry out the apivar, which is basically just a medicine for the bees, let's say. And this medicine stops them from being attacked by varroa, which I mentioned earlier. The varroa are these little red bugs that like to eat the bees and feast on their insides. And by me putting apivar in, it lowers the chances of that happening, but it also gets really stuck because they like to glue it. So actually, I'm just gonna pry them apart because maybe that will make it easier to remove. Oh. Yeah, but they do a really good job of gluing this together. And now I'm gonna pull out the apivar. It's basically just like a granola bar shaped piece of plastic. But it keeps them from getting sick just by them walking on it. And like the inside of the beehive is just so beautiful, and I'll actually show you guys. This is the inside. And like, let me actually see if I can do something real quick. I'm gonna push all these back. I'm gonna push this one forward. And I don't know if this will be blurry or not, but I'm just gonna shove you guys basically inside and let you guys see what's going on. Here, let me see if I can defocus the zoom. There we go. Yep, that's all of them. I can tell it's blurry, but like, it's beautiful at the same time. And now they're all across the phone. But that's okay, because they'll just fly off and find their way. Yeah, but that's the inside of it. And now there's like bees crawling on the camera and stuff. But now they just flew off. And now I'm just gonna show you guys like this next frame with all the babies. And the craziest thing is they always keep the inside of this at 95 degrees. Always. So throughout the winter, it's 95 degrees, no matter how cold it is. And I'm just hoping that they survive through the winter because I got them a little late. And that's okay, it's just, it risks the chances. And I want to give a shout out to San Juan Bee Supply for supplying me with my bees. And actually, I'm starting to see signs of drone brood. If you can see, let me get a better grip. If you can see those little dome-shaped things right there, those are boy bees. And boy bees are much bigger than the girls. Most of these are girls. But I'm not seeing any boys. The boys are ginormous though, but not as big as the queen. And actually, there's no king bee, and that may sound weird, but basically, when the queen is having her mating season, the boy bee latches onto the back of the queen and inserts his genitals and flings his body back, and he dies. And the queen stores all the sperm from him in a sperm sac. So a fertilized egg is a boy bee, and an unfertilized egg is a worker. Workers are more birthed than males, and the queen can decide what she wants to lay. And like, this is like a really well made frame. They're doing really good, actually. It's really clean, not too much excess space. And oh, scout cell. Another one of those little cups. So I just gotta get the hive tool and squish it, because that's a no-no. And they know they're being naughty. They just like to mess with me and the queen. And like this is like one of my main checks that I do. Usually, sometimes I'll do my cleaning checks, which is where I clean off that excess comb that they're building. And then I also check for the queen and that she's reproducing well and doing everything correct. And I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to let them build how they want, because it's their hive. They need if there's more than 3/4 of an inch of space, they're going to seal that up. So you got to push your frames really tight together when you're doing stuff like this. And so now I'm just pulling out another frame. I'm going to grab it. Oh yeah, I have a dead bee on me. There we go. Yeah, she stung me for sure. So like, her stinger was pretty big. If you can see that. And that's her digestive tract. So when a bee stings you, it leaves behind the venom sac and its digestive tract, which is really sad because they don't know that they'll die when they sting someone. They don't know about that, and it's just really sad because when it's like just to defend their hive, they're dying. And like, bees are such an important part of the ecosystem, and it's not just because of their honey, it's because of their pollination and them helping build what goes on in the hives. And honestly, like they don't get any credit, and it's so messed up. But this is another frame. No scout cells. No queen. More drone brood though. And this, I have no idea how this happened, but like that is really weird. Right here, if you can see that, there's a small little cell buildup. And like those aren't even cells. The cells are about this big, but they're just so tiny. Right there. Did that bee just respawn? I swear there was a dying bee on my glove, and I shook my hand, and then it was gone, and there was a like completely live bee in its place. So I guess bees have a respawn button. I didn't know that. Must have just accidentally clicked it. Wish they could learn how to pause an online game when they could pause their entire hive. Yeah, but there's no queen on this, but a huge surplus of honey. All that edging, honey. No scout cell or emergency cells, so that's good. But no queen, which I was hoping I would see her. So that's okay. Okay, go. Ah, there we go. And like the most important part about this is put the frame in the way you took it out, because if you don't, they'll destroy that entire area and they'll rebuild it. So the queen is probably going to be on the next two frames, she has a blue dot on her back, just so that way I can recognize her amongst the rest of the hive. Because sometimes if she doesn't have a dot, you're basically blind, and you're like, wait, where is she? I'm not seeing my queen. She might be dead. And this happens a lot with other beekeepers in other videos. And like, I mean, it's just because their queen isn't dotted. Yeah, and there's my queen right there. She is a runner. She loves to hide. She's actually trying to get under the other bees right now and hide. But I can follow her. She's right there. Keep running. She just doesn't want to be seen. And there's some honey, some good building, but I'm going to put this one back before she flies off or falls. And slowly, very slowly, because if your queen gets rolled in between those frames, she's probably going to die. And then your hive will be queenless throughout the winter, and that will be really bad because you'll basically have a dead hive, and that means your hive is almost mainly dead. And like, actually these guys, they're smelling the pheromones, so you'll see them like climbing all up this and going up into here after a while. It's actually pretty cool. But I'm taking out my last frame now, and then I'm going to close up. And let's see how this one's doing. Oh, that's a heavy one. So definitely filling it up with plenty of honey. That's all honey. This entire area is just honey. So that they're doing really well with that. And this other side is mainly honey too. And those dark spots in that middle section, that's called bee bread, which is a mix of pollen, nectar, and water. And it's actually really good for people. And it helps you stop yourself from getting sick. Yeah, but now I have a bee on my veil right now, which I can tell isn't happy with me because it's biting it. And I can see it biting it. It thinks it's invisible. But yeah, they like to climb on me. They think I'm a threat. And actually, oh, who's this little guy? Yoink? What you doing here, pal? So this is a wasp. Fuck you. And it decided to try and drink some honey out of my hive. So I decided to yoink him and slap him out of his everlasting life. So now he's dead, because he doesn't mess with my bees. Nobody messes with my bees, or else I kill him. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.